if any other politician in American history were asked the question, are you going to be a dictator? No. Donald Trump never answered it. He never answered it.
To be clear, do you in any way have any plans whatsoever, if reelected president, to abuse power, to break the law, to use the government to go after people?
You mean like they're using right now? So...
Did you notice right there how the audience laughed? Joe Scarborough noticed and made a crucial point.
There's a sickness. There is a sickness among, unfortunately, some of our fellow Americans regarding authoritarianism and totalitarianism. They want it because Willie, when he promised that he would be a dictator on day one, he got applause.
Here comes point number 2.
You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not
drill.
that's not retribution.
I'm going to be...
What a stupid thing to say. Drill, drill, drill. What a stupid thing to say. You can tell he doesn't even read the newspapers. And the people applauding that don't even read the newspapers. U.S. oil production.
Yep.
Record highs. We are drilling more and producing more oil, whether you like it or not. We are drilling more oil now than the Saudis, getting more oil out of the ground than the Saudis, getting more oil out of the ground than Russia. What are you going to drill, your teeth?
Anyway, Joe Scarborough's argument is spot on. Donald Trump is a moron because not only is the U.S. now drilling and producing more oil than the Saudis and the Russians, the U.S. is drilling and producing more oil each month than at any time in U.S. history. Environmentalists have already lost this fight. U.S. oil drilling and production is the largest it has ever been, period. But in MAGA land, the U.S. has stopped producing oil and stopped drilling. It underscores the uninformed, idiotic, and make-believe world that one has to live in to be Donald Trump or to support Donald Trump. The former president has been indicted in 4 separate criminal cases. He is facing 91 felony charges, but listen to how Trump addressed all of that.
In the history of our country, what's happened to us, again, has never happened before. Over nonsense, over nothing, made up charges. I often say Al Capone, he was one of the greatest of all time, if you like criminals. He was a mob boss, the likes of which Scarface, they call him. And he got indicted once. I got indicted 4 times.
Trump seems proud of it, and he doesn't address the substance of the charges. He just chalks it all up to politics. His supporters view it that way as well. And that's frightening. Now, there were some other things about this Trump town hall that jumped out. Fox host Sean Hannity, I like him personally, but disagree with Hannity professionally and politically. And I got another reminder of Hannity's blowhard, ridiculous style at the beginning of this event, when Hannity noted Trump's strong poll numbers.
One key reason for the numbers, well, Trump's actually willing and able to participate in a real town hall and passionately answer important questions of our time.
I agree, Trump is willing to talk to the press. And what are the important issues of our time? Sean, this was your first question.
Let me ask you, when you look at this, you look at the polls, you see the enthusiasm, you've done rallies and crowds.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the race?
How are you feeling about the race? Sean, you just said he is leading. What is he going to say other than he's feeling great? Talk about a suck-up question. For most people, Trump's feeling about the poll numbers, well, that feeling is not an important issue of our time, but I get that for you and your colleagues at Fox, cozying up to Trump is the most important and pressing issue of your time, especially if Trump romps to the GOP nomination, because the retribution Trump may be interested in could involve Fox News, which has occasionally tried to correct Trump's lies, as opposed to Newsmax and OAN, which might as well be Trump transmission belts. Anyway, to Sean's credit, he did eventually get to a few of the serious issues of our time, including views about democracy. And the Hannity town hall made some news. But I just wish we didn't have to collectively roll our eyes while looking for the news. Anyway, back to Trump. His view of the power of the presidency, even on day one, is troubling. Over the past several weeks, Trump has repeatedly pledged to appoint people at the Justice Department and Pentagon who will carry out the kind of extrajudicial fascist tactics Trump considered in his first term, but was blocked by political appointees who refused to go that far. Indeed, there are already reports that Trump has assembled a list of tens of thousands of diehard MAGA supporters to fill out government posts and carry out Trump's wishes. So when Trump refuses to answer if he would carry out any powers like a dictator, remember, we've been warned. We've also been warned about Trump's role models, given his rhetoric.
In honor of our great veterans on Veterans Day, we pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country.
Amid a rise in anti-Semitism across the United States, Donald Trump echoed the dangerous language of infamous fascist leaders.
The threat from outside forces is far less sinister, dangerous, and grave than the threat from within.
As Midas Touch News writes, like Trump, Adolf Hitler infamously targeted the enemies within Germany, chiefly singling out communists and Jews. History.com recounts Hitler was appalled by Germany's defeat in World War I, which he blamed on enemies within, chiefly German communists and Jews, and was enraged by the punitive peace settlement forced on Germany by the victorious Allies. Regarding his strategy at the time, Hitler noted, "Our strategy is to destroy the enemy from within, to conquer him through himself." Hitler and the Nazis, like Trump, also compared the enemies within Germany to vermin.
To call your opponents vermin, to dehumanize them, is to not only open the door, but to walk through the door toward the most ghastly kinds of crimes.
The chair of the Republican National Committee was asked about Trump's rhetoric and sidestepped it.
Are you comfortable with this language coming from the GOP frontrunner?
Again, I am not going to comment on candidates and their campaign messaging. I will say this, I know President Trump supports the veterans, our whole party supports our veterans, and I do think we're at a very serious moment in our country.
Deflecting to the issue of veterans and getting away from Trump's rhetoric is not exactly a profile in courage. And one of the lessons from history is that when leaders and citizens stay silent, some of the worst impulses of fascism and totalitarianism start taking root. However, as we've seen at countless MAGA rallies, Trump has stirred up remarkable anger at non-whites, including at undocumented immigrants.
They come in not wanting the American dream. Like years ago, the illegals came in for the American dream. They came here to work and make a better life for them and their family.
But I thought that's what they're crossing now. They all say, you know, we're escaping violence in Ecuador and Honduras and all these sort of places.
To me, they're coming in to ruin this country. We're going to get attacked in the middle of this country because of some of the illegals that we can't vent are coming in, and that's their way in to get us.
I don't know who they are, and now they keep showing that the ones that are coming are all the age of young men who could fight. So do we want an army against our army?
If you look at the majority of the people coming in, it's all men of military age.
In fact, Border Patrol statistics show that most of the undocumented immigrants are not men of military age. Rather, they are women, children, and families. Yes, there are a few younger men, but the claims from the MAGA maniacs are wrong. And that's because the MAGA crowd has been fed a steady stream of lies, nonsense, and fear from conservative media and from Donald Trump, who insists that he, Trump, is the only one who can stop the invasion. And if it takes being a dictator, well, Trump seems fine with that. Again, we've been warned. By the way, Donald Trump just flipped out at a Lincoln Project ad ridiculing
him.
You seem
unsteady. You need help getting around. And wow.
An anonymous, really an anonymous country, and you deserve.
Are you sure you don't have dementia? It runs in the family.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.